Practical tips for implementers and auditors. Let me explain a few practical tips for those who are implementing this standard and for those who will be auditing this standard. In order to implement this standard or this clause, there's a need to have a proper vision, mission, and goals of the organization. The goals may be long and short term. Therefore, please develop organizational vision, mission, and goals. Hold regular reviews at the strategic level and the operational levels, and these reviews can be related to vendors, employees, competitions, customers, accreditors, regulators, technical issues, financial issues, and so forth. Different management tools and techniques can be used in identifying organizational internal and external issues. For example, SWOT analysis, force field analysis, and so forth. So you'll have to learn and use any of these tools so that the output of the reviews can be put in the form of the SWOT diagram. These reviews should be the basis for developing quality objectives, plans, and risk assessment. That's after conducting the reviews, you have to make quality objectives and plans, and even your risk assessment plan should include or should have the basis of these regular reviews or SWOT analysis. And develop the revised PDCA diagram with issues derived from these reviews. The PDCA revised diagram includes the contextual inputs. So after conducting the SWOT analysis, you will develop this revised PDCA diagram. These diagrams can be made at the overall company level and also at the departmental level. Now, some key points for auditors. Number one, do not just focus on the list of identified issued to be displayed by the auditees, but focus on their authentic process or tools which they have been using together to identify the internal and external issues. Number two, check and confirm if the stakeholders are correctly identified and they are relevant to the organizations and the requirements and issues of correctly defined and are related to these stakeholders. Three, learn relevant tools like SWOT analysis, force field analysis, and so forth. This will help you in auditing this clause more effectively. Please also note that it's not mandatory to use SWOT analysis or any specific tool, but the objective of the clause should be met even with any other but relevant tools to fulfill this requirement. Fourth, the auditor should evaluate the scope and confirm whether the issues are properly identified through some reliable process, and also verify how the issues are affecting in identifying the scope. Fifth, the auditor should ensure that revised PDCA is correctly understood and correctly applied at every level. And sixth, documented information is appropriately maintained and retained, which are relevant to the context of the organization. SWOT analysis, or an X-ray of an organization. Let me now explain what is SWOT analysis, which is an interesting and an important tool which can be used in identifying the internal and external issues. Well, there are two broad categories: internal factors and external factors. Internal factors include strengths and weaknesses of the organization or any specific department of the organization. External factors include opportunities and threats, again for the organization as a whole or the department. So when analyzing the internal and external factors, you should gather the relevant stakeholders or relevant managers and go through the detailed reviews and discussions and debates to arrive at the key points related to your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Threats identified at this level will become the basis for the risk assessment later on in the next section. Now, let me show you an example of SWOT analysis. After going through detailed analysis and debates, these are the key points given by a restaurant. Their strength, as shown on the slide, are endless customers, large labor pool, and easy to adapt to changing environment. Their weaknesses are intense competition, low profit margins. Their opportunities to gain customer loyalty, to expand to new locations, to expand services and products. And the threats they identified were bad economy, government regulations, and changing trends. This is how it should be compiled after reviews and discussions. Another SWOT example, this could be a bank. Internal and external, again, two rows are there. The internal strengths they identified, as shown on this slide, are handling of large number of clients, multilingual staff, high social competencies, reputation, and execution of custody. Their weaknesses or internal weaknesses were poorly prepared for heterogeneous client requirements, lack of investment culture and track record, investment philosophy and investment process of low importance. The external factors includes opportunities and threats as follows. Opportunities include taxes are not an issue, large asset base per client, global market with minimum barriers, proponent timings to enter the market because of low interest rates, whereas the threats at the time were strong regulatory environment, high fee negotiating powers of clients, strong reliance of clients on external investment consultants, global intense competition, supplier rather than partner status, and low fees. So, don't you think you need an exercise at your company or departmental levels? So draw this chart on the whiteboard or a blackboard in your meeting room. Go ahead, call for the stakeholders, discuss one by one department or the company's product or services as a whole. When you prepare this, then you can move on to the next stage in the planning and risk assessment activities. In the next section, I'll discuss requirements on clause number 5, which is on leadership. I'll see you then. Thank you.